Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Loghouse Strong. I'm Alex Lawrence, and it's finally time to talk about Nationals. It's just 2 days away. I'm a little behind on getting this preview out, but hey, whatever, it's happening. Not a whole lot of research went into this, I'm not going to lie, you guys, but I have been paying attention to some guys, some things, some competitions, and yeah, I'm gonna walk through all the competitors from each province that are actually going to make it to nationals, that are actually signed up for it, and then after that I'm going to give you my top six in the order that I choose. Just my opinion, man. So anyways, firstly, the events the events are pretty cool. Event number one, if this is the order, is wheelbarrow loading race. So I believe you pick up a wheelbarrow, you carry it a certain distance to your next object, and then you load that object into the wheelbarrow, and then you push the wheelbarrow over the finish line. So I don't know specifics. I don't know if it's just one implement that you have to load up, or if it's multiple, like we did in Grand Prairie. But either way, it was a really cool event in Grand Prairie, and it's going to be really cool at Nationals this year. Event number two is axle clean and press away. So that just means you have to at least clean the axle to your shoulders at least once, and then you start pressing away as many times as you can. You can set the bar down and then re-clean and keep going if you need to. That'll be really cool. Event number three is axle deadlift for reps. It's a decently heavy deadlift, but there are some guys that are going to be pushing some pretty high numbers on this, I believe. Event number four is the yoke medley. So it's my understanding that the yoke is going to be a set weight carried one direction, and then once the athletes make it to that first length, then they have to load up the yoke themselves with in the men's class, it's 50 more pounds, and then they have to pick up the yoke and bring it back for a full lap. So, yeah, that'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see how everybody's transitions are from getting out underneath the yoke, grabbing a plate here, loading it up, grabbing a plate there, loading it up, and then resetting with an extra heavy yoke, and then coming back. That'll be a really good test to see how good people can perform under pressure, under that kind of speed, under that kind of weight, really. So yeah, that'll be a good one. The last event is sandbag to shoulder for reps. It's not a ladder, it's just one sandbag, and as many times as you can do it. That's what we did did in Alberta provincials. And it's a really cool event. I really like that event. Sandbag ladders are cool, but having just like a fixed bag weight and just who can do it as many times as possible, I love that. I absolutely love that. That's so cool. I really want to see who wins that. I've seen some really cool stuff from some people, actually. All right, so now I'm going to go through the athlete list of all the confirmed open men's athletes that are going to be competing at nationals this year, and we're going to start from the east and work our way to the west. So starting in the east, we have the Atlantic division. So I'm assuming that it involves Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland or Labrador. That makes sense to me, but even then, with those three provinces, there's only two guys in the men's open class that are actually going to make it to nationals this year, and that's Alexis Dugas and Quinn Graham. I don't know anything about these guys. I haven't looked them up. I don't know what they're all about. But it'll be cool to see if they can beat any of my predictions. If they can crack into my top six, that's a pretty big deal, and I apologize for overlooking them. Anyways, moving forward, now we're going to look at Quebec. In the open class, we have three competitors: Adrian Nesta, Shangyi Zhang, and Francis Marchessault. Now, I actually don't know anything about Adrian Nesta, but I looked at his Instagram a little bit, and he seems pretty decently statically strong. His deadlift is good, his overhead is good. I know absolutely nothing about Shangyi Zhang. I tried it. looking up that Instagram, and I just get some, I don't know, some Chinese guys that don't even lift. So I don't know if this guy even has IG or not or whatever. But the one guy that I have actually been following on Instagram for a while is Francis Marchessault. This guy is a tank, and from what I've seen lastly, I don't know too much about the guy. I've just seen him lift and been impressed by, how efficient he is at his movements, at his techniques, and yeah. So I believe that his most recent contest in Quebec was his 100th competition as an amateur, or just 100th competition in general, because I think last year at nationals he got first place in the U120 class, and that's really impressive, right? The U120 is just one step below the open class, so that's really really cool. But man, looking at this guy, really really impressive. I'll give a little rundown as to how I think he'll compare to the other guys in my top six. Moving westward, we're in Ontario now. In the men's open class, we have BJ Goss, Dan Bartlett, Ethan Harmony, Matt Gibson, and Scott Noble. The guy that of note on this list for me is BJ Goss. BJ, I think he won the U105 nationals either last year or the year before. I don't know for sure. Like I said, I've hardly done any fucking research here, but either way, this guy, looking at videos of him on IG, he is incredibly undersized for this weight class. Like he literally looks like a 105 still. But the weights that he's pulling and pushing are definitely in the open class, and it's been very very impressive to watch him train over the past several weeks. And yeah, I just want to see him really shake things up in the open class. Moving west some more, now we're in Manitoba. We have two competitors in the open class, that is Lane Campbell and Nathan Paul. uh yeah, sorry, I don't know anything about these guys. I haven't seen anything at all. I haven't looked that hard, blah blah blah. Next up, Saskatchewan. Men's open class, we have three competitors: Carter McKim, Karsten Hen, and Tyler Eaglesham. Now, I did look at this provincials a little bit, and first place we had Carson Hen, second place we had Carter McKim, and third place was Tyler Eaglesham. Now, Karsten, he actually just broke the amateur open men's yoke record for weight over a certain distance. I believe the distance was about 35 feet or something like that, and he did, if I remember correctly, it was 1,065 pounds. I'm not sure how fast he did it in, but he still did 1,000 pounds. Over 1,000 pounds. That is really, really impressive to be doing at this level. So, yeah, I would expect him to be running with an 855-pound yoke come competition day. We shall see. Now, beyond Saskatchewan, we have the biggest lineup of the competition in terms of the men's, and it might be the biggest competition in any weight class. Scrolling through these pages again, I apologize, you guys can't see what's on my screen. My screen's not even on. I can't even see what's going on. I'm on my phone. I'm looking at the list on my phone, and that's the Alberta list right there. We have Alex Crisby, Alex Clisper, whatever, Ben Borger, Dan Hagen, Dave Blake, Kyle Francotti, Ryan Jabley, and Shane Hogan. I competed against all of these guys in Alberta, and yeah, all of these guys deserve to be here. They're all really good athletes. They're all really strong. Some better than others, but yeah, all of these guys deserve to be at nationals, showcase what they can do, because they're all really, really good athletes. And yeah, I actually have three of these guys from the Alberta lineup in my top six for nationals as a whole. Moving westward, our final province, British Columbia. We have 4 competitors. We have Cameron St. Amand, Darcy Bone, Dylan Dorsey, and Lawrence Kane. All of these guys, they're all pretty solid. Darcy Bone, Dylan Dorsey, and Lawrence Kane. Well, Darcy Bone and Lawrence Kane, I believe, if I remember correctly, those guys actually tied for, I can't remember what place in BC Provincials, but yeah, they were neck and neck, man. Like whenever one guy would do good, the other guy might just do a little bit better on the next event, and they keep flip-flopping. So yeah, it'll be a battle between Darcy and Lawrence to see who comes out on top at nationals with these set of events. Dylan Dorsey, he is national log press for max record holder as of this year. He pressed 365 pounds for a single, and he had more in the tank. If he didn't have whatever leg injury that he has, he certainly could have done more. So next year, he's going to push it without a doubt. And Cam St. Amand, the dude he's a specimen. He's not the tallest athlete. He's not the heaviest athlete, but he's really, really fast. And he's also really statically strong. So he's going to do well in this lineup. So, with that out of the way, now I want to get into my top 6. And like I said, this is just my opinion. All of these guys are really good athletes. And, you know, at the end of the day, somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. So, if you don't like my opinion, that's too bad. That's just the nature of competition. If you didn't like my opinion, then you don't like losing. If you don't like losing, then you wouldn't even compete, because there's always a chance that you're going to lose. So, my top 6, not in this order. I will get into my order. We have Dan Hagen, Kyle Francotti, Ryan Jabley, all 3 of those guys from Alberta. BJ Goss from Ontario, Cameron St. Amand from BC, and Francis Marchusseau from Quebec. Who do I think is going to get 6th place? Well, this is actually pretty tough, because you have guys with incredible amount of experience and even just like pretty decent experience, and then you have guys that are freaks of nature, but maybe they don't quite have the experience that some of these other dudes have. And then you have guys that are injured. So for my 6th place, honestly, it's a toss-up between Ryan Jabley and Kyle Francotti. Now, Ryan, he doesn't post a whole lot on his IG, but whenever I see him post something, he makes things look very effortless. Like, he makes them look easy. And I'm not sure if that's just because he literally has one expression. Like, anytime I've ever met him or seen him on Instagram or pictures or whatever, he has one expression. It's just plain emotionless. But the dude is absolutely a unit. And as for Kyle Francotti, Kyle did win Alberta Provincials, but the other guys that he competed against, not including myself, were not in their top form. They were not at their best. And yeah, now they're totally locked in on nationals. Like earlier in the season, they did what most of these Alberta guys, they did Western Canada's Strongest Man just 2 weeks before Alberta Provincials. And Western Canada's Strongest Man is a pretty big competition. It's a pretty prestigious event. And anybody who is invited to go do that contest wants to do the best that they possibly can at it. So these guys put all their eggs into that basket, and they trained for that. And then, yeah, as soon as they were done, then it was like, okay, well, we got 2 weeks until Alberta Provincials. Let's qualify for nationals, right? So yeah. Kyle was training specifically for Alberta Provincials, and he killed it. He won first place. He did really, really well. But honestly, I think that's as far as the great success goes for Kyle this year. He's incredibly strong. He's pretty athletic, but it's just practice, man. It's just going through the motions, just more touches on these implements, more time doing these events, right? And I think this is just this is literally just his second year in Strongman. So yes, he had great success at provincials, but yeah, in order to do really well at nationals, I think he is definitely capable of getting a pretty high placing in nationals. But first place, even top five, I think it's a bit of a stretch. But I think he is capable of top five or even top six. And sorry, I'll go back to Ryan. Ryan did sustain an injury. I'm not sure what event it was during Western Canada Strongman, but he like tore his groin or something like that. So his training has been on a bit of a standby, a bit of a standstill as far as I know, until he was able to properly recover. So I don't know how many weeks of proper training he's had. I don't know if these moving events like the yoke or even the wheelbarrow is going to affect him. But if it does affect him, then his placing will drop. If it doesn't drop, then yeah, I could see him as high as like third even. But there's a lot of other good guys here too. So anyways, that's Ryan, that's Kyle for 6th and 5th respectively. Now, let's move on to 4th place. Now, 4th place, looking at these names, the other 4 guys that I have here are Dan Hagen, BJ Goss, Cameron St. Amand, and Francis Marchessault. I'm going to go with BJ in 4th place. BJ's incredibly talented. He's really, really strong for his weight, really. Very athletic. But yeah, these other guys that he has to compete against are just monsters. And I don't think he'll quite be able to keep up with him just this year, but he's still going to be incredibly impressive, right? Like, he's going to be the string bean guy showing up all these other fat dudes, right? He's going to do really well. But 4th place, that's where I put him. 3rd place, I have Dan Hagen. Dan's made some serious strides in the past few months in his overhead, in his deadlift, and in his work capacity on sandbag to shoulder. So that'll be really cool to see. His deadlift has been really, really strong in training. But I don't know anything about his yoke. I don't know anything about his wheelbarrow, like grip strength, that kind of thing, or, loading things. So yeah, for that reason, I've got Dan in 3rd place. Now, the fight for 1st place between Cam St. Amand and Francis Marchessault. Cameron, I've only seen the guy once. He doesn't post on Instagram at all. But from what I saw at BC Provincials, I was really, really impressed. Like I said earlier, the dude's extremely fast. He's really strong, and he's really good at transitions. This guy could definitely win. If he has a really good day, if he has the same kind of performance that he had at BC Provincials, he can win nationals. Definitely. If he's prepared enough, he can win nationals. But compare with Francis, man, just trying to think about this logically, I think Francis just has so much experience. You watch this guy lift, you watch him overhead press, you watch him do sandbags, you watch him do pretty much any event, and it looks like he's done all of these things like 1,000 times before. It's the level of technique and the level of proficiency at these events that he has is professional. It really is. It truly is. It's very, very cool to watch. So, yeah, for that reason, 1st place, I have Francis. 2nd place, I have Cam. 3rd place, I have Dan Hagen. 4th place, I have BJ Goss. 5th place, I have Kyle Francotti. And 6th place, I have Ryan Jabley. So, yeah, that's my top 6. These guys are going to be fighting like hell. And I really want to see somebody in this list that I didn't mention to actually sneak into that top 6 and prove me wrong, especially from one of these provinces that I haven't really seen too much with the smaller lineups. That's going to be really, really cool if that does happen. But yeah, these 6 guys, it's gonna be fucking awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait. Um, yeah, man, I wish I was there. I wish I was competing, but I just got little niggles that I need to figure out. I need to get stronger. I need to get stronger. My overhead just isn't quite there to be competitive at nationals. My deadlift isn't quite there to be competitive at nationals. Everything else I'm totally confident with, but it's just those two things. Those two really, really important and big things that I just won't quite be able to hang this year, but maybe next year, man. We'll see. So yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate all the support. I know that I've been like really quiet with Loghouse Strong the past several weeks, but if I'm being completely honest, after BC Provincials, I mentally checked out. I was totally ready to just move on with getting back into real life, starting to focus on my job properly more, which I have been, and it's been going great because when it comes to basically anything in my life, I am a one-track mind. Like anything that I set my mind to, anything that I'm really passionate about, that's right in front of me, and everything else is in the side view mirror. Nothing else really matters at that point. And it's to my benefit during competition season, but it's to my detriment for my work, right? And right now at this point in my life, getting good at my work is really, really important, and that's where my focus is going to be for the next year or so. So I digress. Thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate the support. Keep looking out. I'll do a recap as soon as I can after nationals. And yeah, wish the best of luck to all these athletes. And watch the live stream, man. If I find out what it is, which shouldn't be too hard, then I'll probably put it on Loghouse or something like that. So yeah, anyways, stay tuned, guys. Thanks again.